Good morning, welcome to
KidMath number 66.
KidMath number 66. I have to go to work early today, so we're just going to do our movie. And I was thinking about it last night. This is actually kind of funny for me anyway. I was thinking about doing a video about a line being tangent to a parabola. And then I looked in your book, and this is the very last problem in the chapter. It's a star, so it's an extra hard problem. It says, if the parabola y equals ax squared plus 6 is tangent to the line y equals x, then calculate the value of a. You ready to get an eraser for me while I'm drawing here? Okay, thank you. Can you tell me what the line y equals x looks like? Can you tell me what it looks like and then draw it with a dashed line?
Well, it starts at 0, 0.
Okay.
Then it goes 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4.
Okay.
You can also go down
Very good.
in the other direction.
Alright, go ahead, draw it with a dashed line.
With something like this.
Okay, good. What is the slope of this line? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember what the slope is.
Okay, slope's 1. Maybe we need to review line a little bit. That's okay. You drew the line right. Now, y equals ax squared plus 6. We've been talking about parabolas. What does the plus 6 do?
The plus 6 shifts it up or down.
Okay, by how much?
It's going to shift it up by 6.
And does it shift it up or down?
It shifts it up.
Okay, so the plus 6 doesn't shift it up or down. It shifts it up by
6.
And what does the ax squared do?
Well, the a, it's going to make it thinner, or it can widen it or make it thinner.
Right, so here we have a parabola like this, and we might, if the a is really big, it's going to make it steep, and if the a is really not so big, it's going to make it not steep, like this. So here's our picture.
So the a is going to, I don't think the a is going to be really big, because this is about where the 6 is.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So we end up having an equation that looks like this, and the tangent means it just touches at that one point. Okay? So we have y equals ax squared plus 6, and we have y equals x. And we want to solve these two equations. I'm going to cut out the bottom part of this graph to have room to work. Okay? All right, now, what we want to do is use the fact that y equals x to substitute in for y up here. So we get x equals ax squared plus 6, or 0 equals a x squared minus x plus 6. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you subtracted x from both sides.
And how did I get this equation? X equals ax squared plus 6.
Because since y equals x, you just substituted the x in for the y over there.
Okay, and how do we solve equations of this form? A times x squared minus x plus 6. What do we use to solve those equations?
Completing the square.
Okay, we could use completing the square. There's a few other techniques we have.
The quadratic formula.
We could use the quadratic formula. And the interesting thing is it doesn't ask us to solve this equation. It just says there's only one solution. Now, what does it mean when a quadratic equation only has one solution?
It's a double root.
It's a double root.
Or it's just tangent to the axis.
Yeah, it's just tangent to the axis. Maybe not at 0.
But it's like somewhere.
Somewhere. Okay? Alright, now tell me what the quadratic formula says. Can you write down the quadratic formula?
The quadratic formula says minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
Okay, now what in the quadratic formula is going to make a quadratic equation have two roots? What can you tell me about the solutions if both roots are the same? Or sorry, one root. It has one tangent line, it has one solution. In other words, both roots are the same.
It means that this has to equal 0.
It means that has to equal 0. So for our equation, what does A equal?
A equals just A.
A. B equals?
Negative 1.
Negative 1, and C equals?
6.
6. Sorry for A equals A, but
that's what it did.
that's what it said, okay? So we have B squared, which is 1, minus 4 times A times C, so minus 24 A
also minus B
equals 0. No. I'm just saying now when this equals 0, when the inside of the square root equals 0, that's what this means for our equation. And so solve that.
So means, well, you can 1 equals 24a.
Yeah.
A is 1/24.
Okay. So we get A equals 1/24. Okay.
That is small.
Okay, so it's very small. It's a very wide equation. Okay, now let's just check and see that A equals 1/24 produces a solution. Okay, so Y equals x squared over 24 plus 6, and Y equals x should have one solution. Well, Y equals x means the solution is x equals 1/24, Y equals 1/24. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry. Brain freeze. It means x, substituting y equals x squared over 24 plus 6, or 0 equals x squared over 24 minus x plus 6. Okay? But this should be a perfect square. Now to simplify this, what should we do?
We can multiply everything by 24.
Okay? To find the roots, it doesn't matter if you multiply the equation, both sides of the equation,
because it's still
by
0.
24. So step 1 times 24, and we get 0 equals x squared minus 24x minus 6 times 24.
Let's just leave it like that.
Let's multiply it out.
Right, 6 times 20.
And of course, it's plus 6 times 24.
Yeah. So 6 times 24. It's 120, and then it's 144.
Okay, so 0 equals x squared minus 24x plus 144. Okay, how do we figure out if something's a perfect square?
Well, we take this middle term, negative 24, divide by 2,
Yeah.
and then square it, and that does equal 44.
There you go. So this is x minus 12 squared. Okay, which means this is a perfect square, which means this equation here equals 1/24 times x minus 12 squared.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so sorry that was long, and sorry I did most of the writing, but that's a cool problem with a parabola being tangent to a line. So that we do a lot of work and on algebra, and it solves our geometry problem. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Sorry that was a little long.